start in the same way I start most of my real life conversations, by being a mumbo and showing you a picture of my little boy with our family dog. As you can see, they're best friends. They're inseparable. Here they are again, playing in the nursery. And when I was designing my son's nursery, I thought that I'd come up with a unique theme. 9 months before Andreas came into the world, my partner and I took a life-changing trip to Zambia. It was life-changing for a number of reasons, but out of all the experiences Zambia had to offer, there was one that truly humbled me: the raw, untouched wildlife. And I didn't want my son to have to wait a single minute before he could learn about those animals, the elephants, the giraffes, the lions, these animals that share our world. And for that reason, I created his very own little London savannah in the back bedroom. Now, at the time, I was lucky enough to share my pregnancy journey with 5 other pregnant friends. We created a WhatsApp group, as you do, and anything and everything pregnancy related went into there. Now, I won't terrify you with the ins and outs of what went in there, but once I finished the nursery, naturally, I sent a picture to the group, only to be inundated with 4 out of 5 identical pictures. The exact same theme, along with the exact same Jerry the giraffe looking over the crib. Well, my first thought was, were they at the same Zambezi love shack as us? Well, no. If you type into Pinterest newborn nursery ideas, you'll find pages upon pages of animal-themed designs. And it makes total sense why parents would gravitate towards them. Exotic animals from faraway lands give us all a sense of wonder and adventure. You can ignite your child's mind before they've even left the crib. Pretty much from day one, we're exposing our children to animals through toys, through books, through films. Disney has this off to a fine art, but to have our children interact with real animals early on in life is a whole different ballgame. And I've seen this firsthand, the relationship between my son and our dog. From such an early age, my son has showed so much respect and awareness for another living being, offering his food, brushing his coat, playing fairly with his toys. And he was learning these lessons from an animal, our dog. The teacher taught him connection, taught him empathy, taught him care. But these behaviors are not reserved for humans and domesticated animals. These behaviors are found throughout the animal kingdom. They show empathy, love, creativity. I mean, heck, I'm taking a few tips off the back of her motherly devotion. Now, I'm not asking you to leave your little one at the side of the Zambezi to make friends, no. But I am asking that you recognize that these living beings have the same traits and characteristics as all of us. They have their own families, their own homes, their own lives. We all share the same world. We all share the same joy of life, but many of these animals are under threat. And by threat, I mean a number of them will be extinct by the time our children reach their late teens. The murals we have in our children's nurseries of elephants, of tigers, of whales might soon be just a history lesson. They will show how once upon a time, these beautiful creatures walked this land and swam the oceans. Animals have been on our planet for hundreds of millions of years. Let's just take a look at what's happened within the last 200 years. Animals are steadily thriving, and then boom, 1970 hits. We've wiped out animals everywhere. Within 2 generations, 60% of the world's animals have been erased. That's 1 dead animal for every person in North America, South America, Africa, Europe, China, and Oceania. This isn't just sad, this is dangerous. We are destroying the world our children will inherit. Do we really understand what role animals play in the biodiversity of our planet? Let's look at one species in particular. Now, I like to call these Earth's ecosystem engineers, the gentle giants of the land, elephants. When forest elephants eat, and they eat a lot, they create necessary gaps in the vegetation, which makes way for other species and also allows new plants to grow. And what happens when elephants eat a lot? They go to the loo a lot. And this is a major way in which trees disperse their seeds for hundreds of miles. Now, aside from being climate warriors themselves, elephants are enormously sensitive creatures. They express compassion and they love playing. When one of their elephant friends has been away for a while, they perform greeting ceremonies and they hug with their trunks. They also express altruism and grief. If an elephant dies, they perform an almost funeral-like ritual by gently touching the body with the trunk and covering it with leaves and grass. If it's one of their own, they stay for days, sometimes weeks, guarding the body. 100 years ago, 12 million African elephants freely roamed the grasslands. Now, only 400,000 survive. Every day, 100 of those elephants are being massacred for their ivory and body parts. And because elephants have such a long pregnancy, 22 months to be precise, more elephants are being killed than are being born. And this is ludicrously unsustainable. Over in Asia, it's the same story. There are only 45,000 elephants left in the wild, but their lives are at threat for different reasons. Reasons that I unintentionally discovered several years ago in India. I was filming in Tamil Nadu for the first time during Diwali and had some time off, so I decided to take my mum and dad on a trip to Goa, as rookie Brits tend to do. We were ready to explore, and on the second day, we found ourselves at a spice market where a tour guide informed us about an elephant sanctuary. Oh well, this was music to our self-proclaimed animal-obsessed ears. A place where we could volunteer for the day and get up close and personal with India's most majestic creatures. It sounded like something we couldn't miss, so we didn't waste any time. We went straight there. But within 15 minutes of arriving at the so-called sanctuary, it was clear that we were on a conveyor belt of animal exploitation. You know that series Tiger King? Well, we were on the set of Elephant King. At the entrance, we were greeted by the trunk of a female elephant who ushered us to her back, and her keeper, who used a well-rehearsed bit of flattery, said, "Oh, she loves people. She wants you to ride with her. She'll walk you in." We were apprehensive, but then felt obliged as we were chased up a ramp and onto her back. As a then naive animal lover, it felt incredible to be so close with this gentle giant. It felt surreal. A minute later, we dismounted and continued to walk further up the riverbank, where we were then met by another elephant who was instructed to blow water out of her trunk. That's when we thought, okay, this is unnatural. And around every corner, there was an elephant performing some kind of show. As we went deeper into the forest, we found tiny cages where baby elephants were kept in isolation, swaying from side to side in an almost trance-like manner. This wasn't a sanctuary. This was a circus. We left riddled with guilt, and as soon as I got back to the hotel, I got my laptop out and I decided to do some research. So, what actually happens when elephants are part of a circus? Well, more often than not, they're taken away from their mothers as babies. Sometimes their mothers are killed in front of their eyes, trying to protect their young. And even as babies, elephants are highly intelligent with a strong mind of their own. So to train them, they use torture as a training method. This is called the crush. Just as the word suggests, this crushes the animal's spirit and forces them into submission through fear and pain. It takes years of this abuse before they surrender. After learning the dark truth behind elephant rides and such, I vowed to spread awareness amongst other oblivious tourists, but to have international impact, the whole system needs changing. The problem is that these elephants aren't protected by the law. I was so disturbed with what I'd seen, I went straight to the local authorities, who told me it was out of their control. Now, even though capturing elephants for commercial profit has been illegal in India since the 70s, an amnesty back in 2002 allowed people to keep already captive elephants so long as they were registered. However, these captive elephants still make people money. They're still being captured, they're still being traded, all supported by dodgy documents. A few months later, and with the Goa incident still fresh in my mind, I found myself filming a project in the backwaters of Kerala. Mid-scene, sirens started to screech and villagers started to panic. Women hid whilst men grabbed weapons, firecrackers, lit torches. It was like a scene from a horror movie. Then, an elephant and a calf ploughed through the field opposite, running directly over a train track, which was empty, thank God, whilst being bombarded with rocks and burning logs. It was horrific. I had no idea why these people were going out of their way to attack this mother and her harmless baby. But this is happening every day in India. Here's another similar incident in Bishnapur. Because of these two separate occasions, I felt compelled to do something. I had to do something. So I reached out to the Elephant Family, a charity that prides itself on protecting elephants worldwide, but in particular, South Asia. That's when I learned about the extreme human-wildlife conflict. All across Asia, we are seeing industrialization and development, and as a result of this, animals are being forced off their traditional lands to find food and water. This then causes a problem for farmers. Hungry elephants damage crops and put the farmers' already precarious livelihoods at risk. And not only are their livelihoods at risk, but also their lives. Within the last 5 years, 2,000 people have died due to human-wildlife conflict in India. In the same respect, although a lot harder to comprehend, elephant owners along with poachers make their living off the back of Western tourism and ivory demands from wealthy buyers exploiting not only the animals, but the poverty-stricken locals. It's a vicious cycle caused by affluent consumers. In reality, it's people like us. And that's why we must unite. We're at a point in history where our generation can either take action or simply do nothing. We can save these incredible creatures or watch them die out before our very eyes. So first up, save people to save animals. Elephants are the icons of India and Africa. They're tourism magnets. That means we can all play our part. So choose an ethical tour partner and visit national parks that not only rescue and nurture needy elephants, but also rescue and nurture former elephant owners and ex-poachers who are in need of a way out. These organizations dedicate time and money into re-educating them so they can turn their animal knowledge into conservation work. The next thing you can do is support foundations that dedicate themselves to solving human-animal conflict. Each and every case is different. There's no quick fix. The best foundations spend time talking with the locals, educating, assessing the environment. In this way, problems are solved and both animals and humans are saved. And finally, a worldwide solution that not only protects elephants, but millions of other animals. Tougher international laws to protect their welfare. What kind of example does it set when the world's most influential country, the US, lifts a ban to allow hunters to import their so-called trophies from Africa? Let's start with a solid global ivory ban. We must get campaigning, petitioning, protesting. We must change the course of history. Thank you. And remember, you can be a voice for the voiceless.